Voices from the Grave, written by Ren Bryant. Read by the author.
Ooh, ghost, ooh! Quit it, Jay, I say, slapping his belly as we enter the Osseo Cemetery. Though the cemetery is surrounded by suburban life, there's no streetlights to guide our path. Our flashlights and a bright moon show the way. Elongated shadows of oak trees beckon us inside. Feet and Big Head let out a nervous giggle. We're all creeped out, I think, but we have a mission. We need to be still and quiet for the recording, I say. The microphone picks up everything, like pretend you're hunting deer or something. Be still, be quiet. The gang, that's my best friend Jay Adams, Kevin Feet Rodriguez, Big Head Dan Needham, had passed the first rows of tombstones, old souls from the 1800s, Minnesota's first permanent settlers probably, certainly the first ones in Osseo. Other than our footfalls and the occasional rustling of a tree, the cemetery is quiet. Exactly what we need. We're heading to the fresh grave of Diane Schnell. My Diane. She was my girlfriend, my first and only girlfriend. The one who made me understand why kisses are so special. I was crazy about her, and she died 2 weeks ago. Car accident. Semi ran a light and T-boned her and her mom at that nasty intersection of Jefferson Highway and 93rd. It was the top headline in the Osseo Maple Grove Press when it happened. The paper quoted Diane's mom, saying she wished she didn't survive, that she should have been the one that died. The whole thing is messed up. I can only imagine what her family is going through. Diane and I had been in the same class since 4th grade. When puberty got us both agitated, we naturally started eyeballing each other. I still wake up most mornings thinking of her. I can't let her go. I miss how she used to move her head when she was flipping her hair back. If I was close to her when she did that, I could smell pert. It was heavenly. I miss her voice and how she used to sing Sweet Dreams Are Made of These by the Eurythmics. I think about all the things we talked about doing, all the plans we made but now won't be able to do. We were only a few weeks away from middle school graduation when the accident occurred. Now she won't even get a chance to experience high school. The class of '88 won't be the same without her. I was watching TV the other night when I saw something about how you can record the voice of spirits. On the show, they had all this fancy equipment, like reel-to-reel audio stuff. They were at some Civil War battlefield recording what they said was voices of soldiers that have died. They asked questions like, "Is a spirit present? Can you speak to us?" Then they waited in silence for a response. They took the recording back to the studio and studied it. On normal speed, there was silence and a bit of faint static. But when they slowed the recording down, the static turned to moaning and what sounded like a weak yes. They played it over and over. It was pretty convincing. Anyway, the show got me thinking, why couldn't I do the same thing? Why couldn't I use my Texas Instruments portable cassette deck? Maybe Diane's still out there and I can talk to her. I convinced the gang to give it a shot. They gave me a hard time about it and said there's no way it'll work, no way it's real, but they knew how much I missed Diane. We all did, so they went along with it. We form a circle around the black dirt of Diane's grave. She's buried next to her grandparents. A sense of sorrow overcomes us. I can see it on our forlorn faces as we look down. The last time we were here was for her funeral. It seemed like all of Osseo turned out that day. There were enough tears to fill an ocean. I know I cried more than I care to admit. 6 feet below us is Diane's corpse, resting in an emerald coffin. Her parents buried her in her Sunday best, a ruffled white dress that made her look like a sleeping angel. I wanted to do all of this last week after watching that TV show, but I knew my parents wouldn't let me stay out late until we finished school for the summer. Turns out waiting a week was better. We got cloudless night sky and a big bright moon that gives everything a pale glow. It's perfect. I looked at the gang and give a nod. It's time. Okay, ready, I ask. Flashlights off. I'm gonna hit record and start asking questions. I'm not really sure we need the flashlights off, but on TV they did their recordings in the dark, and that's what I'm trying to replicate. I take a deep breath and hit record, then balance the tape recorder on her tombstone. Is anyone there? I ask. I can see Big Head starting to smirk and I wave my hand at him. Shut up. Sometimes I feel bad about calling Big Head, but the gang calls it like we see it. Dan's got a big head. Kevin's got big feet. There's nothing special about Jay and myself, so we're just Jay and Ryan. I go back to my questions. Diane, can you give us a sign? Are you there? Again, I pause for an answer. What's life like after death? Jay cuts in. Yeah, what's heaven like? Pete says right after. Guys, you can't do that, I say. You can't have question after question like that. You need to give time for a response. I repeat the questions Jay and Feet asked, with appropriate pauses in between for a response. Then I ask, do you miss me? I'm a bit embarrassed asking this and feel my cheeks getting warm. Good thing it's dark outside. After that question, I can't think of anything else to ask, so I look at the gang. They all give me a shrug. They can't think of anything else either. I stop the recording. We head back to Jay's house. He's the closest to the cemetery, only a few blocks away, and huddle around the recorder in his bedroom to listen to the tape. Jay has his mom microwave us some popcorn. She thinks we're doing science experiments, which I guess is sort of true. I feel stupid listening to my voice ask questions. I hate my voice, but I guess that's how everyone feels hearing themselves. At normal speed, there's nothing out of the ordinary. I ask a question, there's a bit of wind noise. I ask a question, there's a sound of a truck passing by on Broadway. There's nothing that sounds like the dead communicating with us. This isn't going to work, Big Head says. We're wasting our time. It's summer vacation. Come on, who wants to play pole position? Hey, we barely even started, I say. Give it a chance. Besides, look, we got to slow it down. That's what they did on TV. That's when they hear the spirits. Jay's mom knocks on the door and enters with the popcorn. Looks like you're having fun, she says, absently as she drops the bowl on the bed next to the recorder. I flip the switch on the side of the TI marked half speed and play it once more. Is anyone there? We all bust a stitch hearing my voice ask the first question, and the gang throws popcorn my way. Nice, man, Jay says. This was definitely worth doing. After a good laugh, I rewind the tape and listen again. Is anyone there? I motion my arms to keep quiet. The sound of wind is stretched out in slow motion like my voice. It's higher pitched and sounds like someone making a shushing noise. Shh. I look at Jay and he's looking at me, and I know we're thinking the same thing. Is that the wind or is that a voice? I rewind and play again. Shh. Everyone eating popcorn stops as I play it a third time. Okay, that's freaky, Feet says. Dude, it's the wind, Big Head responds. There ain't nothing there. I play it a fourth time. That's something, I say. I don't think it's the wind. I play the tape at full speed and we don't get the same sound. Sure, there's a bit of wind, but it doesn't give you a sound like shushing. I move on to the next question. In full speed, it's, Diane, can you give us a sign? Are you there? And again in full speed, there's nothing out of the ordinary in response. I slow it down. After a slow motion truck passes, we all hear it. It's weak, but we hear it clearly. A female voice says, yes. Holy shit, Jay says. I stop the tape. Popcorn drops from our mouths as our jaws fall onto the floor. Feet hugs Big Head tightly. This is exactly what I was hoping would happen, but I'm still freaked out by it. I mean, I wanted it to happen, but I didn't exactly expect it to happen. Like, I didn't think anything would happen. I thought the show was sort of pretend, like maybe they added something for the cameras. So I was not expecting to get a response like we just did. I feel a coldness coming over me and start pacing the room, trying to comprehend the implications of what we heard. Come on, Big Head says. That was one of you. That was one of you guys. This is like some moving hand on a Ouija board or something, you know? It's got to be that. That's real, I snap back. That's real. You all heard it. Big Head throws his hands up in a say whatever you want to believe way. Jay says he doesn't want to hear again. It's too creepy. Neither does Feet. I try to convince them to listen again, but they say no way. So we call it quits. After I got home, I'm too freaked out to sleep, so I listen to the rest of the tape. The shushing is there, the yes is there, and after the third question about life after death, the weak voice of Diane says something that sounds like negative energy and beware. There's a deep hissing noise that makes me jump, and then the tape cuts out and goes to static. I don't get to my question about whether she misses me. The next morning, I'll call Jay first thing and tell him what I heard. I say there was mention of negative energy, and I heard beware like it was some sort of warning, but then it went to static. Jay says he isn't sure whether we actually heard anything or merely heard what we wanted to hear. Spirits don't talk, man, he says. We go back and forth for a while until I tell him I'll prove it. I go grab the recorder and hold it up to the phone, making sure it's set to half speed. I press play. There's nothing but static. I make sure the tape is rewound and hit play again. Again. There's nothing. It's all been erased. I don't know what's happening, I confess. Maybe the machine's messed up? Look, Jay, just trust me, I know what I heard. Later that day, the gang heads to the community pool. It opens when the school ends, and it's our official spot to kick off summer vacation. In between cannonballs, I try and bring up what I heard on the tape, but no one wants to hear it. Let's enjoy our summer, man, Jay says. He put a sympathetic hand on my shoulder. We've all been through a lot with Diane dying, you especially. But, I protest. Let it be, man, he says. Come on, I bet you don't have the balls to do a belly flop. I take the hint and do the best I can to enjoy the rest of the day, but Diane and the spirits from beyond the grave still preoccupy my mind. That evening, I get a frantic call from Feet. He says his room looked like the tornado had gone through it while he was at the pool. His mom thought he did it. He thought she did it. Both denied doing anything. Do you think... Feet's voice trailed off. Do I think it's related to our cemetery adventure, I say, finishing what I thought he was going to say. Could it? He asked. I told him I'm just as clueless on this stuff as he is, that maybe his mom was lying, or maybe there was a robber that came into his room and only got that far before he got scared off. He didn't believe my explanations, and neither did I. Feet's call was followed by a call from Big Head, who pretty much said the same thing. Jay called too. His room sounded even more destroyed. His TV and Atari were smashed to bits. My mom is beyond pissed, man, he said. With everyone freaked out and parents about to ground the gang for the entire summer, we met at the park to exchange stories and decide on what to do next. We chatted for a bit, exchanging theories. Jay said it was a robber. Big Head said it was Tom, one of our enemies from school. Feet said it was me, since I was the only one whose room was okay. I told him I had no idea why my room wasn't ruined. I said everything went down when we were at the pool, and if they remember, I was with them at the pool. No, my theory was that it had something to do with Diane and what she said on the tape. She called it negative energy. I said maybe I was protected since I was her boyfriend. Whatever the cause, we knew we had to tell our parents something, otherwise summer was ruined. Big Head insisted telling them that it was a bully from school, but we talked him out of it. We said if they think there's a bully breaking into our homes, then we definitely can't play outside for fear of our safety. It would be de facto grounding. Though my theory involved a stretch of the imagination, we figured coming clean with our trip to the cemetery and what we heard on the tape would be best. We went one by one, starting with Feet's parents, then Big Head's, then finally Jay's. The reaction from each was the same. Quit lying and stop trying to cover for what really happened with some ridiculous story. They all said there's no such thing as graveyard spirits that talk and mess up kids' rooms. Then they looked at me and they said they were ashamed and disappointed I would use Diane's name like this. Hasn't her family suffered enough? They all asked me. It felt like a punch to the gut. Diane was my girlfriend. I missed her something fierce. Why would I make this up? But our parents didn't want to hear it. In the end, we all ended up cleaning the rooms to prevent anyone from being grounded. I was still upset that no one would believe us. Well, would believe me specifically. Heck, I'm not even sure Big Head believes what I told him about the tape and the negative energy. I told the gang we had to get proof. We had to go back to the cemetery. Tonight. No way, Feet said. Yeah, Ryan, no way, Big Head added. We all got nearly grounded. You saw our parents' reaction. If we go back there and something happens to our room again, we're toast. I looked at Jay and gave him the stare only best friends do. The one that says I'm counting on you. Jay was my only chance. Otherwise, it's 3-on-1. Jay, I said, it's Diane. Though Diane wasn't officially part of our gang, she might well have been. When she was hanging around with me, she was also hanging around with Jay, Big Head, and Feet. She fit right in. They all called her D. Jay took off his Minnesota Twins cap, scratched his shaggy brown hair, and made a thinking face. Guys, Ryan's right, he said. We gotta do it. We can't pretend we didn't hear something when we first played the tape. We did. Come on, man, it's D. Jay adjusted his ball cap again and looked at Big Head and Feet. Come on, guys. Otherwise our parents think we're liars. That's not going to go well when we get into high school. We gotta do it, he repeated for emphasis. Big Head crossed his arms and narrowed his eyes. Feet said he was in. Big Head sighed. Fine, me too. And then he added, 4D. At the cemetery gates, things seemed different this time around. It wasn't the moon, that's still bright and lighting our way. The stretched shadows of the oak trees still beckoned us towards the dead. No, it was a feeling. It seemed wrong to be here. Something is making me sweat and giving me butterflies. I didn't have those last time. But back then I didn't think any of this recording the dead stuff would even work. Last time I was just doing what I saw on stupid TV show. Now it's real. The dead have communicated with us, and we could be stirring up a hornet's nest coming back here and disturbing them again. Looking at the gang, I can see the worry on their faces too. This time around, there's no jokes about ghosts, there's no giggling or sarcastic remarks of disbelief and Ouija boards from Big Head. Instead, we stand close together like penguins, naturally getting close, not for warmth, but for comfort and safety. We take one last pause in the life of the living before slowly entering the graveyard. Are you guys sure about this? Big Head says. He's slowly backing up. Come on, Jay says, grabbing his upper arm. We're in this together. We need proof. I'm glad Jay's being the enforcer. I can't do it. Though it was my idea to come back to the cemetery, I don't blame anyone for wanting to back away. I want to back away myself. The others didn't hear the rest of the tape. Hearing static and what sounded like a yes was creepy. Hearing Diane warning me about negative energy was the stuff of nightmares. I wondered if we would encounter the negative energy in the cemetery tonight, and if so, how it would manifest itself. Jay's right, I said, tapping on my Texas Instruments recorder. We need proof. I don't like hanging out in the graveyard either, but we need to do it, especially after what I heard last time. We need answers. Let's be quick though, okay? We get in, we ask the questions, we get out. I get a nod from Jay and Feet. Big Head shrugs. I guess it will have to do. With the help of our flashlights and the moon, we get back to Diane's fresh grave. Seeing the mound of dirt makes me think zombie thoughts, like her body is going to jump out of there. I place the recorder back on her tombstone. Beloved daughter, it reads. I try and put the bad thoughts aside and concentrate on Diane. I need to make contact with her again. I want to get proof of spirits, yes, but I never heard from her about whether she misses me like I miss her. I'm sorry, Diane, I confess. I feel like I have to say it. I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry for disturbing her like we're doing. I'm sorry we won't have lockers next to each other in freshman hall as we enter high school. I'm sorry for not being able to take her to prom. I'm sorry she's dead. Jay put his hand on my shoulder. I'm sorry too, man, he says, talking both to Diane and myself. The rest of the gang follow along and put their hands on his. We stay like that for a minute in silent prayer. Okay, I say, breaking the silence. I'll ask the questions again, same as last time. Ask, pause for the answer, move on to the next one. Remember to keep quiet. My hand is trembling as I hit the record button. I take a few deep breaths to calm myself and then begin. Is anyone there? I ask, and then pause. I look around to the gang. They're all looking down at Diane's grave. Jay is biting his lip. Big Head is biting his fingernails. Feet is tapping his, feet. Diane, are you there? I ask. Then I pause, listening to the silence. There's no wind tonight, no rustling of trees or even cars driving by on Broadway. If Diane's going to talk to us, we should pick it up even better than last time. Are there negative energies with us tonight? I ask. I look out again at the gang and shrug my shoulders to say, I'm not sure if that's the right question to ask. Our silence is broken up by choking sounds. It's Feet. His hands are clawing at his throat, pulling at it, trying to pull it open. Breathe, breathe. Shit, Feet, Jay yells. Big Head bear hugs him from behind, cinching his hands right under his ribs, lifting him up off his feet. He forcefully squeezes his diaphragm again and again. Feet looks like a rag doll being tossed this way and that. His hands keep clawing at his throat. It isn't working. He's still choking. There's nothing in his throat, I scream in panic. I'm jumping on top of Diane's grave, putting footprints into her fresh dirt. Feet hasn't eaten anything, I'm yelling. Then why is he choking? Big Head yells back as he keeps crushing Feet's stomach with his hands, forceful enough that he's probably breaking ribs. Feet's face looks ghostly under the moonlight. His eyeballs are bugging out. He's a fish out of water, desperate for air. I'm not sure how much more of this he can take. No matter how much Big Head violently thrusts into his midsection, he continues to choke. Fuck, Feet! Damn it, breathe! Jay yells. He's jumping up and down like me, looking like superfans rallying their team in the bottom of the 9th inning. Feet's clawing at his throat still. Our screaming and Big Head's thrusting isn't working. Come on, we gotta get to my house, Jay says. Big Head, hold him tight. I'll grab his legs. Then we run. It's 3 blocks from the cemetery to Jay's house. Normally it'd be no problem to run from here to there. You probably couldn't sprint the whole time, but the run wouldn't be that big of a deal. I have no idea how Jay and Big Head are going to run in the dark, weaving past tombstones and other obstacles while holding a choking victim. As they get Feet into position, Jay's arms locked around his legs, Big Head's arms locked under his armpits, I'm trying to figure out my place in this. I hold up Feet's butt, trying to keep him from sinking down, but that doesn't seem to work. Jay takes command again. Just go, Ryan. Go tell my parents to call for an ambulance. Right, I say, and take off in full sprint. Meet you there, I yell as I hurdle the tombstone of Diane's grandmother towards the exit. As I near the cemetery gates, I'm praying there's a car driving down Broadway I can flag down. I stop to catch my breath, looking right and left for the headlights. There's nothing. Just dark road. Dark like the graveyard. I turn around and while I can't see Jay and Big Head, I can hear them shouting about not letting Feet hit the ground. I have no idea how they're going to carry him 3 blocks. As I take off across Broadway, my mind also starts sprinting. What the hell are we doing? What is happening to Feet? Is he going to live? As I get to Jay Street, I realize I never got to finish my questions. I never asked Diane if she missed me. And then it dawns on me. The tape recorder is still in the graveyard, still recording. I crash through Jay's front door with enough force that the doorknob goes through the drywall and sticks into the wall. We need an ambulance, I yell, gasping. Feet's dying! Call 911! The lights in the house are off, but I can see a glow coming from the TV in the living room. Call 911, I repeat. Emergency! Emergency! Jay's parents come racing towards my yelling. His dad is in his bathrobe and his mom is in her nightgown. Call 911, I say when I see them. Feet's not breathing! His mom runs to the kitchen phone. Ryan, tell me exactly what's happening, his dad asks, putting his hands on my shoulders. He's calmer than I would be if my son's best friend burst through the door hooting and hollering about an emergency. I tell him we're all outside running around over by Broadway. I don't mention the cemetery. They don't need to know those details. As I'm explaining, I hear Jay and Big Head down the block. There they are, I yell at his dad. We run outside. His mom comes running behind us. Jay and Big Head collapse on the front lawn of Jay's neighbor, spilling Feet onto the grass. Feet rolls like a tire. I swear he's dead. Oh my God, Kevin! Jay's mom says, using Feet's real name. She runs to the limp body, feeling his forehead. An ambulance is on the way, she tells him. We huddle around. I can see Feet sipping air. At least he's not dead. Yet. Jay starts rambling, telling his parents the stuff I already told him. He leaves out the cemetery part as well, which is good. At least we didn't contradict each other. As he's talking, his dad begins doing CPR. He works at a bank, so I'm not sure where he learned this stuff, but it's a good thing he knows it. He bends over, blowing air into Feet's lungs, trying to get him to breathe normally again. All eyes are on the action until Jay yells, Big Head! Big Head is now gasping for air, doing the same thing that Feet did, clawing at his throat, unable to breathe. Oh my God, Dan! Jay's mom screams. She starts doing what Big Head did to Feet, pumping his stomach, trying to get his throat to become dislodged. We're in full panic mode, making enough racket that I see a bathroom light come on in their neighbor's house. I want to tell Jay's mom that what she's doing won't work, but I let her keep trying. We got to do something. Feet is still getting the CPR treatment, still looking purple. I hear an ambulance siren in the distance. As I turn to Jay, I see he's now gone down too, grasping at his throat the same way. Jay! I scream. His parents stop what they're doing and look up to see their son also dying on the lawn, his face red, his eyes popping out of their sockets. My baby! His mom yells. They rush to his side, his dad immediately beginning CPR. Neighbors rush outside in their robes and race to the carnage to offer help. There's nothing anyone can do. It's the negative energy. Beware is what Diane said. I'm standing in the middle of this surreal scene. Feet's dead. I could swear it. Big Head and Jay are next. There's crying all around, husbands holding wives. And me, I'm fine. I'm not choking. Why? The ambulance arrives and the paramedics run to the gasping bodies on the ground. They suddenly started grabbing their throats like they couldn't breathe, Jay's dad says. They didn't eat anything, I add, watching the paramedics check for pulses. It was out of nowhere. I feel my body going cold again. My vision becomes blurry, dipping to black and then back to reality. The negative energy, I think. It's coming for me now, too. I swear I feel my throat closing, but that may be my imagination. With all eyes on the paramedics working, I slink away. I need to get back to the cemetery. That's my only hope for stopping the negative energy and saving my friends. As I get closer to the cemetery, my vision gets worse. I'm looking through a tunnel or a periscope with darkness around the edges. I wonder if this is also what happened to my friends. Did their vision go out before they started choking? I stumble over a tombstone I didn't see but press on. I need to reach my tape recorder. The wind picks up and turns to an eerie whistle, rattling the oak trees. Darkness, closing in, vision going. Diane! I cry. I want to yell loudly, but I can't. My throat itches and feels tight. Diane! If you're there, save me! My hands are in front of me now, stabbing the air for obstacles in my path. I think I see the fresh dirt of Diane's grave, but it could be nothing but blackness consuming my vision. Diane! Guide me! I'm on autopilot as I zigzag around flowers and vases and teddy bears next to tombstones of the dead but not forgotten. I hit a mound with my foot and stop. I squint through the periscope and see the words beloved daughter chiseled in granite. I've arrived. I look around as best I can but don't see my tape recorder. My throat feels like I got a boa constrictor around it now. I feel a squeezing and it's getting harder to breathe. Diane! I can barely get it out. On my knees, my hands search the ground. I'm crawling around like a blind baby, over dirt, onto grass, feeling the cold headstones. Diane! Help me! Visions of graveless souls awakening dance through my head. Then, an image of Diane. She's smiling, wide enough that she has dimples. We're holding hands, walking somewhere, walking towards the light, away from the blackness that is around me. She raises my hand. I feel it. My tape recorder. I'm jolted from my thoughts as I feel myself gasping for air. Then I feel it. My tape recorder. I'm jolted from my thoughts as I feel myself gasping for air. Negative energies. My finger fumbles on the tape recorder buttons. I press play as I collapse onto Diane's dirt, clutching at my throat. I hear static. Then a weak female voice. I'm here, she says. I know that voice, even scratchy and weak. It's Diane. My heart jumps, though I'm not sure if it's from the lack of oxygen or from hearing Diane. Let me go, she says. Negative energy will kill you. You need to stop holding on. I'm trying to process her words, but my brain is confused. The constricting around my neck becomes worse. I'm on my back, my body twitching as my muscles scream for oxygen. I mouth Diane, but there's no sound. On the tape recorder, Diane continues speaking. Memories are good. Keep those. But live your life, Ryan. We will always have our love and the time we spent together. But you need to move on. The negative energy feeds off your grief. Say goodbye and move on. That is the only way. My vision is gone now. There's no more air. There's nothing. The world is black. Then I hear, Goodbye, Ryan. I will always love you. Instinctively, I respond, Goodbye. I love you too. It comes out more a gurgle than anything. I'm dying. My last words, I think. Then I hear static. The feeling of tightness on my throat lightens. I feel a rush of air into my lungs and begin coughing. My eyes open and I can see the moon. The blackness is gone. I'm alive. I look back to Diane's tombstone and can't fight back the tears. She did it for me. I couldn't say goodbye, so she did it for me. Forced me to respond. She saved me. Goodbye, Diane, I say again. For the rest of summer, no one from the gang mentioned anything about what happened. I think we were all too scared. The doctor said it was a head scratcher as well, that it was amazing how the boys' symptoms all went away as quickly as they arrived. Probably some sort of allergic reaction. That was their best guess. Our parents didn't care what the reason was, they were just happy we were alive and well. Before freshman year started, I went to visit Diane's grave, the first time I had gone there since everything happened. I was nervous entering the cemetery and clutched tight on the stems of the flowers I brought for Diane. I didn't know what to expect, but when I smelled the sweetness from the flowers posted near the cemetery gates, I relaxed a little. The late summer sun shined bright on my face and felt good as I made my way to the row where Diane and her grandparents rested. Diane's grave was no longer covered with dirt but a nice patch of sod. I thought maybe it brought her some peace, like her final resting place is no longer unfinished. I told her how nervous I was about starting high school, though I made sure not to say anything about wanting her to be with me. I said I will always love the time we had together, though. Then I said goodbye again and left behind the flowers I brought. On the way out, the wind picked up, this time a bit stronger than when I entered. It pushed at my back in the direction of the exit. As I got near the gates, I looked to the mausoleum and saw the flowers there were all dead. The sight caused me to freeze and induced a mild panic attack. Were those flowers alive or dead when I walked in? I thought they were alive, but I couldn't be certain that I even looked in that direction. I felt a cold sweat starting to form. All I could think about was the negative energy. It's still out there, ready to attack. My eyes darted around looking for other signs of something wicked, but then my rational mind kicked in. It said that flowers die, that's what they do. I walked out of the cemetery and never returned.